Okay, that's what I mean by the camera going like colory. So this was a factoring problem, okay? So I have x squared and x, so we got to use get it equal to 0, so I'm minus 9, okay? And then I put minus 9 in behind it. So I just need to quickly rewrite the equation. And now I know I'm going to use the GCFT, okay? Okay, so greatest common factor, yeah, we don't have a negative, we don't have x on everything. 3, you can't divide those all by 3, so forget it. Okay, so it's going to be negative 27, searching for a difference of 8, but that's impossible, so now that's what the song is for, the quadratic formula. Opposite of b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4. A is 3. C is negative 9. You got to get that negative 9. And then 2 times 3 is 6. Okay. So I've got 8 plus or minus and then 6. Now those of you with the calculator, I want you to punch that square root in. So I go second and then the square root function. You need a double parentheses at the beginning. Then negative 8, second power that, minus a 4. And you're like, well, why do you need 2 parentheses? Because the first one tells me I want everything I'm about to type in a square root, and then the second one encloses the negative 8. Okay, you didn't get error, so that's good. So you need to put 13.11 right there, 13, okay? For those of you not fortunate enough to know how to do that on your calculator, you got to go with these. So I need to take negative 8 times itself. I need to take 4 times 3 times negative 9. Okay, so 64 minus 4 times 3 times negative 9 is negative 108. Okay, so since I'm subtracting a negative, that's going to become plus plus. That's 172. Now I want that square rooted, okay? If that can be square rooted, you need to square root it. It's not going to be an error. So 13.11, that's how I want the songs done, okay? So put 13.11 or just 13, I'm fine with. You'll just get slightly different. 8 plus 13.11, you got to divide that by 6, please. 3.52. And then I subtract, I take 8 minus 13.11, divide by 6, negative 0.85, okay. Okay, next one, oh, this got to be the Q. It's got to be the Q, okay. So I replace that with Q, so 2Q to the second equals 50. Okay, so let's divide by 2. And Q to the second equals 25. So to get rid of the second power, we square root. And Q is plus or minus 5. So that could equal 5 or negative 5. Now I bring in what Q actually really is, which is x plus 4. And if you don't really understand Q, there's another way you can do it, and you might like that better. I don't know. 1's a first answer. Negative 9's a second. Okay, next problem. Again, if that goes colory, I'm going to have to pause it again. Okay. Football's punted into the air from a height of 5 feet above the ground, velocity of 40 feet per second. Find the back's height on that one, and then calculate the time when the ball's 10 feet above the ground. Approximate the answers. If I'm finding the maximum height, let's not worry about units. We know this is a parabola. Both of them will be using parabolas. Now write an equation. It's the gravity. Your velocity comes next. You got to get the 40. If you put 5x, it's wrong. You're going to get the whole thing wrong. Plus 5 equals y. Get y there. And by the way, x stands for the time in seconds, and y stands for the feet. So remember that, okay? Okay, so finding the max height ain't that hard. Okay, I'm going to use the opposite of B divided by 2 times A. And I clearly know A and B here. So it's going to be negative 40. Then 2 times negative 16, of course, is negative 32. So that's 1.25. Now that's the number of seconds it took to reach the max point. So to find the height, we put 1.25 here, 1.25 here on the calculator. Unless you really like, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, I'd use a calculator. Okay, I got 30. Okay, so 30 feet. So 30 feet's the answer. Fill that out and then tell me what the max height was. Okay, find when it's 10 feet above the ground. Okay, I'm going to write that same equation. I'm going to be using it. Now, here's what I don't like. People, that's 10 feet. Okay, I want to know it's 10 feet. You got to insert 10 feet into the equation for the appropriate variable. In this case, that variable would be y because y is feet. Okay, now, clearly, it's a factoring problem. Clearly. So we got to get 10. So negative 16x squared plus 40x. And now I have negative 5 equals 0. Okay, 3 terms. GCF. And the t-table. Now, if you really want to do a GCF and t-table, go for it. I'm going straight to the song. Story problem, I know that t-chart's not going to work, and the only point of a GCF really is so that the t-table might work, but I don't think it's going. I don't even want to try it. So opposite of b plus or minus the square root b squared minus a 4. A is negative 16, C is negative 5, and we have our old reliable negative 32. Okay, so I've got negative 40 plus or minus something, negative 32. Okay, now I need to figure out what I'm going to plus or minus. Now, if you're fortunate enough for the calculator, you go second, okay? I still want you using that tool. It makes things go a lot more time efficient. Remember, that's negative 5. Okay, so you need to put 36 or 35.78 or something right there. Again, if you're not fortunate enough to have that, we will need to take 40 times itself. We'll need to take 4 times negative 16 times negative 5. So it's going to be 1,600. Then I find that product. Gives me 320. That's 1280. I want that square rooted. There's no reason you can't square root 1280 on a calculator. It's not negative. Okay, you got the same thing I said I did. So 35.78 or 8 or something. Okay. Then I proceed. Negative 40 plus 35.78 divided by negative 32, and that gives me 0.13. Okay, so it must have been that much time on the way up. And wait a second. Yeah, 2.37 or something like that. Get it somewhere close. I'll be able to see if you're doing the right thing. Okay, both those are viable answers. It must have been that many seconds on the way up, that many on the way down. Again, I'm going to the formula, okay? Again, let's talk about part B. 10 feet's got to be inserted into the equation for y, then we got to move it. And you can do your GCFT, that's fine. I don't really see a need to on a story problem especially, okay? Last problem. A surfboard shop charges $500 for a surfboard. We're selling 45 in 1 month. They want to decrease the price by $20 for each surfboard because they feel they will sell 5 more surfboards each month. How many times should they change the price to maximize the revenue? What will the maximum revenue be? So that's your answer. That's my end goal. Find the max revenue. I don't care because I know it's a parabola. That's for lines. Okay. Maximums, no. So I got to find x, y, opposite of b over 2a, and then I plug in to find y. We should not be using the song at all in this problem. We should not be using the GCF. We should not be using the T-charts, okay? Now, the revenue is the money times the items. Very simple formula. It's like selling concession stands. 5 boxes of popcorn, $10 each. Well, $2 each, you made $10, okay? That's Y. Now we're on the hunt for monies. 520. Okay, those got to go here. Now it's decreasing by 20, so minus 20x. And then the surf items, in this case surfboards, would be 45 and 5. So 45 plus 5x. Okay, now with that done, we need to get an A and a B for this. Okay, so I need to do the FOIL. So I take 500 times 45. I take 500 times 5x. I take negative 20x times 45. And I take negative 20x times 5. You notice how that 20x is negative. You can't forget the negative. You can't forget the x's. Okay, now I find these products. 500 times 45 is 22,500. I believe that would be a C value. 500 times 5 is 2,500x. Just an x, so that has x, that doesn't have one. That's going to be negative 900x. That's going to be negative 100, but that one, the x is squared because both factors have x. Only one factor has x, only one factor has x. Okay, so negative 100x squared is going to be the A. Now B, we got to add those two. That's 1,600. And that'll be B. And then we got 22,500. Now, you don't stop doing the GCFT. That's not what you're doing, okay? You're finding opposite of B over 2A. Opposite of B is negative 1,600. 2 times A is negative 200, and that's 8. So that's how many times we changed the price. So I would have gone $20 8 times. But now insert that in the equation. That finds our Y, which is our maximum revenue. Okay, believe it's 28,900, but I've been wrong before. Yep, fill that in there. So 8, changing the price 8 times gives me a maximum revenue of this. Okay.